Trans Angeles burned. It shouldn't have been possible. From the deepest underground housing blocks to the tallest corporate council towers, the megacity had been purpose-built to be the gleaming jewel of the new human Commonwealth, with automated fire control systems on every level, backups to backups, independent power sources, and multiple fail-safes. Yet the flames climbed into the dry heat of the summer night, the only light in the huge swaths of cubes and spires and pyramids without power, without water, without hope, without life. 22 million dead at the last estimate, Munroe thought. The number was meaningless, without significance, just a word. The destruction and devastation passed through the filter of his helmet's infrared and thermal sensors, and the computer simulation that melded those inputs into something coherent, something a human mind could process fast enough to keep alive. The results were plastic, a virtual reality game set in some surreal post-apocalyptic landscape. The helmet kept out the smells, the smoke, and the raw sewage that spilled out onto the surface streets from the broken pipes and the unpowered processors, and the rot of spoiled food, and the stench of the decaying corpses. Most of them were buried far underground, trapped in the housing blocks when the power went out and took the air circulation with it. They were the lucky ones. They died painlessly, passing out from the carbon dioxide buildup, not even knowing what was happening to them. The bodies and parts of bodies buried in the wreckage of the Zocalo were the workers, the wage earners, the people not satisfied with the life of a chawner on the dole, with the free soy and spirulina delivered to their free housing block apartments, with the free entertainment and whatever they could make on the public fabricators. The working class actually wanted those corporate towers, even if they knew they were forever out of reach. All it had won them was a messier death. How the hell did it come to this? He hadn't meant to say the words out loud, and he was sure he hadn't broadcast them. She heard anyway, because of course she did. The quarantine came too late, she said, her voice matter-of-fact. No, not her voice. Her face was buried beneath the faceless camouflage hood of the reflex armor, the polymer-infused, lab-grown material that was half armor, half exoskeleton, and cost more than a starship. Her mouth hadn't moved. He knew she had a neuralink among other things. It had taken her unspoken thoughts and converted them into a reasonable facsimile of her soft, almost girlish tone. Once the change spread the virus in the planetary population, this was almost inevitable. You have a keen grasp of the obvious, Major Murai, he shot back over the same private channel she'd used.